Let's get started today, but I do want to thank our sponsor, and that is iTrust Capital. This is a place where you can start your new 2025 season for building your own crypto IRA. And this is a great thing to do. If you have a goal for 2025, maybe this is one of them. And guess what? You can get into a ton of altcoins over on the iTrust Capital platform. Very easy to join and super, super simple. Very low cost as well. Make sure and check it out. It's going to be a $100 funding reward if you guys decide to go that route. Use our link down below to get yourself started in building a crypto IRA. All right, let's go over to a couple of things I want to hit on. Bitcoin price is regaining its ground after a little bit of the tax harvesting sell-offs. And I think a lot of people were in a position where they were taking a little bit of tax positioning positions at the end of the year right there. And then, of course, we did see Bitcoin start to edge back up to around 96. So some nice little moves overall. If you look at some of the items they highlight in the article, many have liquidated both Bitcoin ETFs and the underlying asset to optimize their tax reports. These are pretty simple and pretty common in the finance market. So I think a lot of people were expecting that. Nothing super new on any of that. One other thing they did talk about, one of the analysts, they did expect liquidity in terms of a re-entry. That has started to happen because we've already seen the altcoin market regain 1 trillion. So we've already seen that move coming in. And these analysts also expect the recent inauguration of President Trump is likely to bring a lot more pro-business and renewed optimism. I'm kind of curious, guys. Do you think this run up to January 20th, do we get a pre-pump? Is my question. Or do you feel like the pump that we're most likely going to see in that euphoria stage really start to happen after January 20th? Drop some comments down below. I'd love to kind of get your thoughts on where you think this is going. Listen, we were kind of lambasted at the end of last year by the IRS. And the IRS says, hey, we're going to put all these restrictions on crypto in a new way. And they came out almost last minute. They have now retraced that and come back in and said, we're going to delay this, implementing crypto cost basis reporting rules, which is going to be based on a per wallet basis. So anticipate that in either 26 or 7. Again, I don't know if we're going to get a lot of that, because I anticipate we're going to see a lot of pressure from this administration on the IRS. If the taxpayer has not identified preferred accounting method, first in, first out, FIFO, many people know that, it'll be applied treating the earliest acquired assets as sold first. So this is a mandate that was set to go in effect just this week. But now it's all been postponed. So 2025, a bull year, will be a little bit easier on taxes. So that's good. Tax expert also, they were talking about almost all centralized finance brokers were not prepared for something like that. So they were going to have to deal with a whole slew of development changes and policy changes. In fact, most likely a lot of customers starting to try to figure out what was going on. So that, of course, all changed. And right now, this is the biggest one right here. You'd be unintentionally selling the earliest purchased asset, which tends to have the lowest cost basis, while unknowingly maximizing your capital gains. These are some of the pitfalls that were really being drawn out. And I think that's why the IRS kind of said, okay, we clearly screwed this up. We're not going to do it. Let's jump over to another article. And this, of course, is Bitcoin futures funding rates suggesting a 2025 start with a little bit of cautious optimism. I'm kind of in that same boat. There's a couple of points they make. No significant increase in the Bitcoin perpetual futures funding rate. Also, they think that the stability indicates that there is some optimism and that traders are kind of just, exercising a little bit of caution ahead of some of the big events. Part of it we're going to see is inauguration. I think other things we'll see is the continuation of the Fed, how the scenario plays out with inflation, especially in Q1, the jobs numbers coming in, and even other things that I think will play into this is how Doge is looked at. And when I say Doge, I don't mean Dogecoin. I mean the Department of Government Efficiency. What I'm talking about there is we could see a new way how the market responds to what Elon and Vivek might be doing under Doge, whether it's good, bad, or even indifferent. If they don't do anything, that could be another signal for market moves coming in. 2025 will be the best crypto year ever. This is coming in from Steno Research. A couple of points they make there. Bitcoin and ETH spot prices surpassing 150 and 8,000 respectively for both Bitcoin and ETH. Those are pretty significant. We have heard numbers, above even the 200,000 mark, just because of what we've seen with Mostly the Asian market, especially China, with a lot of liquidity coming into the market on digital assets, most likely going to be the case. And don't forget, a lot of things happening in Japan as well under SBI and what they're doing around the market when it comes to XRP. So there's a lot of global pressure here as well. Then if you look at the ETFs, I mean, let's go, man. Here we are, October. That was when we started seeing the movement on Ethereum, and this could just be the beginning of where ETH ETFs start to move. Ether is poised to perform especially well in 2025, and most people think it's going to outperform Bitcoin. Me too. I believe that will be the case for sure. Last up is the administration. New administration, much more robust, I think, in terms of on-chain activity. Most likely, ETH and Solana, I think, both will benefit significantly from all of this. And I think these are the factors that we're going to start to see bolster the altcoin market up to maybe a $2 trillion market cap much faster than many people think. If you look at the altcoin season index, we have been retraced and reset back into somewhat a middle of the road. I want you to kind of compare. If you look at pricing back the time when it starts to get in those ranges, look at that right there. So the opportunity here of seeing that kind of growth again for altcoin season is real. And we're already setting at a $1 trillion market cap. And if you look at the total three, this is a good example right here. This was 2021. This is the monthly chart. That's 2021 right there. We're already clipping above the $1 trillion mark. And I think this is just the beginning. So this is what we are watching right now. A lot of tokens absolutely performing crazy today. Many of them, what was the big one, I think? Was it Prime that I think was hitting like 20? Yeah, here we go. Oh, even Akash was over at 20%, but almost everything. And there's Prime also. Prime at 20% up today. A lot of tokens active, and of course, even Render up almost 7% on the day right here as it starts to recover on the monthly. All of that, very good signs for altcoins in general. Franklin Templeton's crypto predictions. Let's take a look at those. This is their crypto predictions for 2025. A couple that I want to highlight. One is the Global Crypto Hub, US. This is aligning legal and economic policies. Basically, we're going to get companies and developers aligned finally with our regulation. That's a big deal. Intersection of traditional finance and crypto, I think that starts to cross over. Big deal there. If we get that, we will see a pump in this market like nothing we've ever seen before. Stablecoins also expected to remain very pivotal. I think this is going to be maybe the unsung hero of 2025. So watch out for those, including USDC, RLUSD, all of that going to be taking place in 2025. Addition of Bitcoin strategic reserves, that could still happen around not only the United States, but many other nations and central banks that could be going this direction. And then also you have to look at DePIN, decentralized physical infrastructure networks. We've talked about this before. I think we're going to see a lot of projects coming at the market that are much more utility-based, that people understand, that will really start to hit off in 25. Agents. AI agents expect to be increased quite a bit on utilization of the blockchain. And I think this is just a matter of time before we start to see this integration in a lot of different meme coins, altcoins, gaming projects, so many different crypto projects out there that will benefit from all of that. If you look at virtuals, this is, I think, the leading AI agent platform out there, and it's just getting started. Look at this over just the last 1 month. This thing was trading at around what, $1.50 on the beginning of December, and it's trading at $4.50 right now. That is the current trading. And if you go to look market cap, same kind of scenario, 1.7 billion, holding it all. It clipped over a 5 billion market cap right there. So again, this is another market that I think is going to be huge in 2025. So just keep a close eye on what's happening with virtuals. Other things out there, of course, MiCA is officially here. This is the thing that's going to start what's happening within the European markets. And I think there are things that you have to kind of consider. I'll show you something here and zoom in on this, because the asset categories are the ones that you're going to need to pay attention to. Utility tokens, how that's going to be done, how the issuer requirements are going to be set up. Asset reference tokens, these are called ARTs now. These are also requirements. And remember that traditional finance is looking for these kind of regulatory alignments, and that's what MiCA has been able to do in the EU, is basically give all of the companies, all the developers, all the projects, basically a a roadmap, to get going to where some of this stuff can be utilized in Europe, which means they'll be legal to get into some of these exchanges. Other things that are happening out there is that we're going to see some rewards on, guess what, stablecoins. And RLUSD is available now on Uphold at 5%. And that's starting right now. You can go in there, place an RLUSD, hold stablecoins on XRP, and get a 5% yield. So crazy times for sure. If you look at the XRP chart, this is the weekly chart. And you can kind of see the movement right here that has started to come off over this last week. XRP, again, never closing below that 198 line, which is where we were talking about not too long ago. And this was the point that we felt would be the tell as to whether or not XRP could hold. This is going to be a big one as well. We're going to continue to watch XRP. Nate Garassi, he hits on a couple of points here that some of which I agree with, and I'll tell you the ones I do, some of which I don't. One, of course, combined spot and Bitcoin and ETH ETFs. We'll get that launched. It's obvious. Spot ETH ETF options trading, a spot Bitcoin and ETH ETF in kind redemption. I think that will happen. I think also we'll get some ETH staking. That's going to be huge for Ethereum in general. And then a spot Solana ETF will get approved. I think it's going to be XRP that will be, and maybe even others. But I think XRP might be the leader of the spot ETF that's coming in, at least from the next phase. I don't know that we would call it an altcoin, but maybe you would. Other things you got to look at is the Bitcoin ETF movement. Again, right there, right after the first of the year, what happens? Another major net inflow. Zoom in on that. Look at that. That's crazy time. When you look at all the way through December, and now here we are in the 1st of January, it's surpassed all of that just in that last bit. And the last time we had these kind of inflows, I mean, remember, this was back in mid-November we started really seeing a lot of activity, and Bitcoin was cracking above 105K. So big moves out there right now on Bitcoin ETFs. Also, the other thing you have to consider is the history, the cycle, both on the 2021 cycle, the 2017 cycle. This was ETH all underperforming, and now once the January hits, bam, that's where the performance really starts to take place. Just to give you an example of that, 78% in 2021, and that was in January, right there. February, 8%, 34, and 44 in April. So a very, very fast start in comparison to the last two major bull cycles. So if you do believe in, these cycles, then these are the next 4 months you want to be able to be tracking all of this with us. If you're not subscribed to the channel right now, make sure and do that. It's a great place to get just more content, but also when we go live, which we'll start doing more live streams for you guys now because it is going to be getting very heated up. This will give you notifications when you hit that little bell, and that way you'll catch that. Other things out there is the long-term holders is starting to shift a little bit, and this is Bitcoin versus ETH on long-term holders. Bitcoin is sliding down, ETH is starting to climb up, and it looks as though we might have at the end of December another clip up moving on the ETH holders right there in that purple. So again, good state for the future here for sure. Solana ETF approval in 2025. This is now getting up around 85% chance. This is a no-brainer, guys. It's just one of the ones that will happen. That will accelerate Solana's price. Who knows where Solana will go with an ETF? It may have a very fast run. I'm curious if it happens in the first, say, 2 quarters, how it will respond post-May, because many people, I think, will be looking at May as an opportunity for a high. Many people might be looking at altcoin season that may not extend into the next cycle, or it could do an exact reframe of what happened in 2021, where you had another all-time high, and many of those altcoins peaking toward the end of the year in 2021. One other thing on Solana is Fire Dancer. That needs to be taking place. I think that is going to be a big deal. Other things that you just have to be aware of is the unlocks that are coming. And also the other situation that plays is a $2 billion unlock in March, but also Galaxy Digital and other investors got a lot of SOL as well. So could they be looking at an exit? Just remember, yes, we've had much worse times. And I think everybody that's been on our channel for very long have lived through a lot of those times, all the way back to FTX forger, all those kinds of things that have happened to the crypto market. This one I don't think is going to be as big. So we'll see how it plays out for sure. Solana starting to recover a little bit here on the monthly at trading at 207 right now, up almost 6% on the daily. Where do you think Solana will be by, let's say, May or June? Where do you think it will land? Let me know in the comments down below. I would love to get you guys' input. All right, again, if you're not in the Diamond Circle, get in right now, guys. It's a great place to get additional content. And guess what? We do additional content over there, including podcasts, research, all that good stuff. Just join just using the link down below and follow me out there on X at Paul Barron. We'll catch you next time right here on TechPath.